Hey everyone, I'm going to react to Mr. Balan's the video. The first part is there in my channel. This is the second story of the three-story part, I guess. So yeah, let's get started.
One afternoon in April of 1925, a wealthy teenager named Lacey raced his horse around the huge estate where he lived in eastern Hungary and took in all the land that he knew he would inherit someday. He stopped when he reached the gardens on the far side of the estate, but before he could ride his horse into the gardens as he
Horse riding is a thing that I wanted to do for a long time, but there are no horses here, so
wanted to, a field worker ran up to Lacey and asked him to stop and turn around. The field worker, who was about Lacey's age, explained that Lacey was not allowed to ride his horse through the garden anymore because the last time he had rode through some flower beds and Lacey's father was really mad about it. And at
bro, he just rode through a flower bed and his father is angry. What is this, man?
this, Lacey
It's just a small
felt
thing, right?
totally exasperated because he was tired of his father always bossing him around. And it embarrassed him to be reminded
exactly.
of this by someone as low class as a field worker. So Lacey's family was part of the noble
Damn.
class. His dad was a baron and his mother was a
Oh,
baroness, and they lived together in an old castle on this beautiful estate. And for the most
That
part,
explains
Lacey
it.
loved his noble life, but his father could be harsh and really controlling. And sometimes Lacey dreamed of the day that he would inherit his dad's title, because then he, Lacey, would be in charge of the estate and he could finally run things the way he
Yeah.
wanted. And so Lacey decided he wanted to show his father and this field worker and the other field workers that they couldn't order him around all the time. And so he rode his horse right into the gardens and intentionally rode all over their prized flower beds. Lacey's plan was to head back home and go
I
to
mean, you're gonna get in trouble, right? Then why are you gonna do that?
the castle and talk to his father about that field worker's rudeness. But when Lacey got back to the castle, he didn't have a chance to even speak to his
It's like a spoiled kid, bro.
father, because that whole day his dad was very busy with estate matters. And then that night, his father died of a heart attack. A week after his father's death,
Damn.
Lacey walked
I mean, his dream is gonna get. I mean, he wanted to get the land properties, right? I mean, that's gonna get fulfilled, I guess.
through the crowded banquet hall in his family's castle looking for his mother because he wanted to make sure that she was okay. He and his mom had just gotten home from his dad's funeral, and now they were hosting a reception for everyone who had attended. But Lacey couldn't find his mother anywhere inside of this banquet hall. And with a sinking feeling, he realized there was only one place she could be. So after Lacey's father had died, his mother had gone
Oh,
a little
man.
bit crazy. She refused to
Poor guy,
believe
bro.
that her husband had died of a heart attack and instead kept insisting that he had been murdered. More specifically, she thought he had been scared to death because when she had seen his body for the first time, his facial expression looked horrified, like he was actually scared as he died. Now, the doctor had explained to her that, it was entirely possible that his heart attack came on suddenly.
Dude, I mean, imagine being the wife and seeing your husband's face, all scared and in his deathbed. Dude, you'll definitely be, shaken.
And he was scared about what was happening to him, and so, was scared when he died. But the Baroness wouldn't listen. She said this was intentional. Somebody did this to him. And so ever since, she had basically spent all of her time in Lacey's father's
Poor
bedroom
woman.
searching for clues about her husband's supposed killer. So now, Lacey left the banquet hall and climbed the stairs up the castle up to his father's bedroom. And just as he suspected, when he knocked on the door, his mom answered, looking totally frantic. Lacey told her to come downstairs and say hello to their guests, but she said no, that she was too busy looking for evidence. Then, before Lacey could say anything, his mom just shut the door in his face. The next 6 months went by basically the same way. Lacey's mother spent all her time locked up in the Baron's bedroom around the clock, and Lacey spent most of his time riding his horse, including in the garden, because he didn't like going home anymore. His mother was now technically in charge of the family estate, but she had really let things go since her husband had died. She basically had not taken up any of the responsibilities that she was now in charge of. And so at this point, Lacey really couldn't wait until he was on his own and in charge of the castle and the estate himself. One night in mid-October, so this is at the 6-month mark from when Lacey's father had died, Lacey ate dinner alone, which was common at this point since his
Yeah.
mom basically still refused to come downstairs at all. And then after he ate dinner, Lacey began making his way upstairs to get ready for bed. And as he walked upstairs, Lacey just felt overcome with anger and desperation and just kind of general angst about the current situation. He longed so desperately to just be alone and in charge.
It's like he's also going through a phase of depression or something, right? His only mother is not his disheveled, and he don't know what to do.
Of the estate. He hated the current setup with his mother in charge, but not really doing anything. I mean, the whole estate was just falling apart here. But eventually, despite feeling kind of riled up, Lacey, got into bed and closed his eyes and did eventually begin to drift off to sleep. But right after he had fallen asleep, he was suddenly awoken by this ear-piercing scream that was echoing down the hallway. And he realized it was his mother, and she was screaming for help. And so Lacey jumped out of bed and he raced down the hallway to his father's bedroom. And as he ran, other servants were flooding the hallway, racing towards the room as well. And Lacey, he got to the door, he unlocked it, and he rushed inside. And when he got in there, he saw his mother pointing at the foot of the Baron's bed. And she was saying that a demon had appeared in the bed.
I don't know, bro. I mean, what do you guys think? Is this a case of alien abduction? Or is she assuming that alien is a demon? And I'm just, open-minded. I'm just putting out possibilities. I don't know.
That the demon had to be what scared his father to death. The demon was the murderer. Lacey's mother looked absolutely convinced here. But Lacey, and really all the servants as well, just kind of collectively sighed. Because there was obviously no demon at the foot of the bed here. And his mom clearly had just had a bad dream.
Did she describe what the demon looks like? That's what I want to know.
Or, was just basically acting crazy. And so as the servants kind of, went back to their rooms to allow the family to deal with this, Lacey told his mother to just go back to sleep here. And then he turned and walked back down to his room feeling completely defeated. Because to Lacey, his mom was basically losing her mind here. And he had no idea how he was going to help. Or really, how much longer this current setup was going to last. But this was awful. On both of the next 2 nights, Lacey woke up yet again to the sound of his mother screaming about a demon inside of the Baron's bedroom. And so by the 3rd morning, Lacey had just had enough. He decided he was going to force his mother out of that bedroom and insist that she come downstairs and eat breakfast with him and just act normal for once. However, when he walked to the Baron's bedroom and knocked on the door to speak to his mother, it was not his mom who answered. It was a police detective. Lacey was stunned, and he walked into the bedroom and saw his mother, who was standing there with 2 more detectives. And Lacey asked,
what is happening, bro?
What's going on here? Lacey's mother explained that she had called the police to help her catch the demon that was haunting her at night and very likely was responsible for killing her husband. And at this point, Lacey thought he might die of embarrassment. I mean, this was unbelievable that now the police were involved. But instead of talking about that, he just begged his mother to please send the police home. They do not need to be here. But his mother refused. She was fully committed to the idea that there was a demon here and the police were going to help her find it. And the police, to be honest, looked like they didn't really know what was going on. They were just kind of trying to figure out if this was serious or not, or if
the detective might be thinking that her saying demon is sort of like a thief or something that's hiding in the room.
if there was some sort of intruder, but they were just kind of like, we'll see.
Yeah.
And so Lacey finally just turned, left, hopped on his horse, and went for his daily ride. That night, as Lacey crawled into his own bed, he knew that down the hallway, his mom was already in bed, and that 3 detectives were watching over her room in case a demon appeared. Again, Lacey felt unbelievably embarrassed by this. To even be affiliated with this was just excruciating, but he managed to close his eyes and go to sleep. But, like normal, at some point in the middle of the night, he woke up because his mother was screaming. And Lacey, he's like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. It's only getting worse, but he got out of bed, he went into the hallway, and he began walking down towards where his mother was, where she was screaming inside of the Baron's bedroom, expecting that, once again, the room would be empty and the police would see, this is just complete delusion here. There's no demon, there's no problem.
I'm just wondering, man, they are such noble people, right? Why don't they have any medication for it? Or did he try to put her on medication?
However, when Lacey got to the doorway and looked inside, he saw one of the detectives running across the room and then tackle something that really did look like a demon to the floor. And then Lacey's mother turned on the light. It would turn out that even though Lacey fully expected to inherit his father's title, he was actually not the Baron's firstborn son.
What?
Before the Baron had met the Baroness, Lacey's mother, he'd had a relationship with a local peasant woman, and they had had a son together. And the Baron had given that peasant woman a plot of land on the edge of the
Dude.
estate to raise their son in secret. And then
This
the
is
Baron
so
had
wild,
basically
the
abandoned
twist.
them both. He had given them the opportunity to, work on the estate and sort of make a living for themselves, but functionally, he didn't interact with them at all. He didn't recognize them at all. They were on their own. Now, the peasant woman, the mother of this child, had sort of accepted that this was their reality, but the secret son had sort of buried that feeling forever until Lacey rode his horse through the gardens despite being told not to and destroyed those flower beds.
Dude, the way things come around, man.
Field worker, his job was looking out for the gardens, and it just felt like a step
that?
too far. And so the secret son, the field
Dude,
worker,
that was a
decided
twist
he was
for-
going to teach this family a lesson. He was going to kill the Baron and the Baroness by scaring them to death. That was his plan. And it's sort of
So the mother was right in bringing the detectives. It's crazy.
worked. He went into the castle and pretended to be a demon in the middle of the night, and he scared the father, the Baron, so badly, he literally had a heart attack and died. However, the secret son continued pretending to be a demon around the Baroness after killing the Baron, and the Baroness would get really, really scared and would scream and claim there's a demon in here. But she didn't die from this. She did not have a heart attack. And so ultimately,
That's-
the plan was foiled. And so in the end,
Yeah.
there was no demon. It was just Lacey's half-brother wrapped in a cloak wearing a horrifying mask.
Dude, this was a crazy story, man. All right, so that's it, guys. There's one more story remaining. I'll record the reaction of it and I'll post it afterwards, after this video. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe my channel. I'm a new reactor trying to grow. So yeah, thank you guys. See you in the next one. Bye.